let's just do what's called a stinger quote. So you just go like, okay, our music comes in.
I got a stinger in my ass.
Yeah. I got a stinger in my ass.
No, Steve Irwin.
No. You pump the brakes. That man's a national treasure.
Not anymore.
Not our nation.
We have close ties to Australia,
dude. All those dangerous animals he hung out with, and it was, dude.
I had the same conversation on Sunday.
Yes.
I had the same exact conversation on Sunday.
Can I tell you how much that still hurts to know Steve Irwin's dead?
Well,
I can't.
The part that hurts the most was his dumbass cameraman's fault.
Yeah, he pulled the barb
He
out
had
of his
left
heart.
the stinger in. They might have been able to save him.
Yeah, they would have had a chance at it.
Yeah.
A chance, but
because the heart will clot around the barb. If you pull it,
now you've
opened
out.
the dam, and now you're bleeding out.
I have heard that where they're like,
so if you ever get like shot with an arrow, you leave it in.
Leave it.
That's why in all the old westerns they snap the arrow off.
And just keep running.
They
just keep plowing their fields.
Yeah, now what? Now we'll get caught on things.
That's right.
Oh damn! I got shot by another engine. Well, better keep plowing this field.
He's allowed to say that. He's allowed to say that.
I can say that.
You got a card and everything.
That's right. Actually, you know what? I was having this card. Yeah, what's that one? Yeah, the friends one. Yeah. The clap elbows.
I know what that means.
I know what that means. Okay. Well, like that's the other thing. I was watching some clip show from TLC. And TLC loves like the Amish and Mennonites.
The channel or the group?
TLC, the channel.
Okay.
Channel, yeah. I almost forgot that there's a group, and I was like, oh wait, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
We don't want no scrubs.
Right? We don't want no scrubs.
Come on, now you're doing it on purpose.
Is that from the good guys? The other guys?
That's from the other guys.
The other guys. Yeah. Will Ferrell,
Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Michael
J.
Keaton.
Fox. Michael Keaton repetitively speaks in TLC quotes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was watching TLC and there's some clip from the Mennonites where they're like, look how many varieties of milk. How do you milk an almond? Like they were pissed off at like the grocery stores. And then she's like, I didn't realize the English needed so much milk. And the English is the term they use for anyone not Amish or Mennonite.
That's white.
Yeah. No. Just anyone it's like their racist little term that groups everybody else. They're like, oh, they're English. And I was like, but they're saying it like they were the first people here. Like, oh yeah, we were here, and then the English. So I take personal offense to it.
I take great offense.
Yes. Do you want me to talk like my ancestors and do that? And be like, I take great offense.
I think of that guy from that show that you showed me.
Which one?
I came here on the Iron Eagle.
I came here on the Iron Bird. Yeah, the Iron Eagle. I'm just joking. I know what an airplane is. I was in the Air Force, damn.
Dude, every time I hear that,
you said that,
every time I hear that bit, I think of the Dave Chappelle bit where he's like, they call me Running Bear or whatever.
Word.
Like, oh, word. And he goes, yeah, I am a Navajo. Oh. You're a hunter gatherer.
I learned about.
I guess you could call it that. Yeah. Why? What do you call it? I'm an alcoholic.
I just saw word. I learned about you in social studies.
Hunter gatherer.
Oh man! So welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia Land.
Welcome back, Peaks.
Oh man, it's good to have you all back.
And if you tuned in last week, get ready for the payoff.
Oh yes, the big reveal.
Here's the payoff.
Satan himself.
People have been lighting pitchforks.
His name is Junior.
Oh,
and the movie that we're covering is
a problem.
Big Fat Zero on Rotten Tomatoes. Problem Child.
There is nothing
Part one.
Yes. That's the most, I think, the most heinous act, like crime of this movie is they made a second one.
The funny part about that is
the second one is like
so it made a bunch of money. The movie made a bunch of money despite being critically panned, despite testing really crappily. People were walking out in the test footage.
I would too, and
it made, I think it was like somewhere around $75 million in theaters on a $10 million budget.
What? That's 6 times.
Yeah, that's like Forrest Gump money, like an opening day weekend.
He got yes, sir.
But still
he
made
got
money.
Dave Crockett.
And then so like everybody was talking about how off color and how horrible the jokes and how
unsettling.
So what did they do? The writers immediately got back to work writing part 2, going further over the top with how the jokes in the second one are even harder to look at. There's a huge scene where they're at a carnival and they're vomiting everywhere to the point where it makes me nauseous to think about.
Did you watch it?
I've seen it.
Oh yeah, I
grew up with it.
I had seen Problem Child Part 2.
Yeah, because there's the girl in the second one.
That's what I thought was.
And they give the dog like some stuff, and he poops like a mountain of crap, and he's like sitting on the top of it at one point. Yeah, you should go watch it. It's awesome.
The things you white people come up with. Back when we were on our land, we need to know problem children.
We provide those.
Here's what I found out about this movie is the director, Dennis Dugan.
Yeah, the same guy who did Happy Gilmore.
Was just, honestly, he made this movie and he was just waiting for Adam Sandler. Because then when you take this kind of humor, but you put Adam Sandler in it for some reason, it works better.
Because he knows how to like clean it up and make it funny.
But look at his list. He did Happy Gilmore, Don't Mess with the Zohan. Sorry, Big Daddy. I mean,
he found his niche.
No, he found his star.
Well, and what Adam Sandler does is he's like,
Benchwarmers.
You guys are all my friends. Come on, we're going for a ride.
He did Benchwarmers?
Let's go
Benchwarmers.
Let's go to.
I love this guy already.
Let's go to Hawaii and make a bunch of movies.
Dude, that movie's amazing.
Benchwarmers, yeah. You guys think you're athletes now?
Oh, that has 3 syllables? That's amazing.
That's amazing.
All right.
So Dennis Dugan, this Problem Child movie is.
You know how Dugan got the job in the meeting with the Universal execs? He got to the point where he jumped up on the table and was screaming, "We need chaos like this," and they were like, "Yep, this is who we need."
Okay.
Like he had a moment of madness.
Dumb Dugan.
Yeah, he had a moment of madness, and it got him the directive role. And then they offered the lead role. Who did they offer the lead?
Didn't they want to give it Macaulay Culkin?
No, Macaulay Culkin auditioned for Junior and didn't get it.
Thank God.
Yeah,
because he was too good.
I guess
he was too good for this.
Well, he
role.
was too like. I mean, he went on to play the good son or whatever, and he was evil in that movie.
Yeah,
but I mean,
he has that like boyish charm.
He hadn't done Home Alone yet at this point because this was 90.
Yeah. Okay.
And
John Ritter didn't like him.
Well, John Ritter wasn't a part yet, but the casting director ended up seeing the kid who was Junior in a commercial. He was a child actor in commercials and stuff like that. Ugh. And she decided to go with him, which he's an evil little kid. Yeah, he's supposed to be an evil
Michael Oliver.
Yeah, he's supposed to be an evil little kid, and he nails it. And I saw they did like a reunion not too long ago of both movies cast coming back together.
Oh, really?
And you wouldn't be able to tell. You would never know that was him. Wow. And I feel bad for him because he's got a 5 head or a 6 head, like I did when I was a kid. I remember the kids in the neighborhood called me Cheesehead. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, but that's offensive.
My head doesn't have a hole in it.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand the Cheesehead. I'm not from Wisconsin. My dad was born there, but I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not me. That's not my culture.
It's not my culture.
Don't loop me in. Don't loop me in with the English.
But yeah, I can't remember who they wanted for the main character though. They wanted somebody a couple of people, famous people who turned it down.
Good.
And the director was like John Ritter.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you still talking about the kid or are you?
No, John Ritter needs to be the guy. And dude, John Ritter is he's awesome.
Like the whole movie, you're just waiting for him to snap.
He's the only person in the whole movie that's like lovable.
That's the only person I rooted for this entire time. And that from the get-go, like the whole premise of the movie is that this woman has a baby, and I guess the fetus was evil enough that she's like, the moment this kid pops out, I'm taking it straight to like a rich person's house and just dropping it on the front porch.
We don't know why exactly she gave it up.
Yeah, no, there's no premise. They don't set it up. They don't tell. Oh, she's hard on her. She's hard, having tough times or something like that. No, she's like. In the kid actor does this voiceover work, and it's the most obnoxious,
his
horrible voice.
Like,
Can you believe this? Like that, the volume stays the same the whole movie. It's like, wow, I can't understand it. What? It's just like, shut up. Stop the movie.
Shockingly what it's like.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you. You're welcome. Because I watched it twice.
Thank you. You're welcome. You just thank yourself and say you're welcome. Thank you, Matt. You're welcome, Matt.
I'll take my Emmy on the way out. Thank you.
Oh,
So they drop this mother who drops the baby off like just after he's born at the house. I really got Trey on that one.
Yeah, you did.
So he drops the baby off at the house, and like it's at a really rich house.
Yeah, really, really nice place.
And the mom or
How
person,
could somebody give away this child?
yeah, picks it up and like immediately it pees on her.
Right.
And then I guess like they're like, oh, that's it. No, next morning,
Yeah.
they're taking it
Urine,
to
get out.
another house.
Dude, I was watching Full House like the other day, and totally same gag, but it's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah,
It's worth
they didn't
it.
take
It's
that child
not
and
Because
give it
it's,
away.
because it's
Yeah.
one of the Olsen twins and John Stamos.
I think
Yeah.
it was John Samos's twin. Remember, they had twin babies.
That's right.
That's right.
Becky
Alex
and John
and Alex
Uncle
and
Jesse, Nikki and Alex.
Nikki and Alex.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so like the whole first sequence of the movie is that this kid keeps getting dumped
Passed.
and passed
The, the one where he's like, "That's my dad," and his dad steps on his bulldozer, and he
Okay,
goes,
yeah.
"Oh, you want to play rough?" And then the trailer that they're living in, it's just an
Yes.
outside shot, and the bulldozer comes in from the side, a real bulldozer, and levels the whole trailer. And if you look in the driver's seat, they had like a dummy
a little doll child.
It's like
yeah.
it's the worst looking dummy.
We don't have any budget anymore.
It's like whatever.
We wasted it too much on red paint for this kid's hair and urine. And urine. There's no more
My
budget.
favorite part of the fact that he keeps getting passed to family is it's the same basket.
Yeah.
And he's getting
Yes.
bigger.
He's getting bigger and bigger.
To the point where when
my
they take him
gosh.
to the orphanage, his legs are almost touching the ground, and he's like this, and
Yeah.
the basket's not even touching his
Well,
back.
It's
And
like a
not even that, but
5-year-old.
to
Yeah.
think that like the family who took him in was like, I better save this damn basket.
Yeah.
It's a nice bassinet.
No, what's that? No take backs.
So gives his back.
Yeah. No, but so like he keeps getting dumped from one family to the next, and then he ends up eventually at the nun, the
orphanage.
orphanage,
with the nuns.
with the nunnery,
The nunnery.
with the nunnery. Yeah, get thee to a nunnery. I used to say that to people online. For some reason, I don't know why it made me laugh. But yeah, no, but he gets there, and like again, even the voiceover. You haven't seen this kid yet.
You already
and
hate
you
him.
don't like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, but he's really cute, or like, oh, he's like, you know, maybe he's not. It's not intentioned. It's not. No, he's an asshole.
That's the craziest part of the whole movie. This is one of the only movies I think I can think of. I mean, maybe there are other out there. I just can't think of them. But where the entire cast, except for John Ritter, is horrible pieces of crap.
Terrible.
All
Yes.
of them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe some of the neighbors, like that only appear for moments, snippets. Like the mom of the terrible girl is fine. She comes over
She
to
seems
give them
okay.
a fruitcake. She's bitching at her terrible daughter because she won't invite the kid over for the birthday party.
Yeah.
But she's like the only one other than John Ritter who's a nice person.
Yeah.
And the director, I think, is in the movie.
Oh, he is. He's on the back of the books, isn't he?
Well, he's the guy whose son asks him for the canteen, isn't it? Isn't that the director?
Oh, I'd have to look that up.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay.
But he is very like, oh yeah, sport. Like, nobody like goes to the freaking.
Nobody likes their kid that much.
Nobody's like, what is this kid like a rock star? Come on.
Yeah. No.
Nobody's that excited on like a normal Saturday at a sport, and like my dad never took me to Sports Authority back in the day,
Sports
and
Authority,
was like
wow, dude,
all
yeah.
about me to the sales dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like he could have been super proud, but he
Your dad,
wouldn't have been.
Steve-O?
Like,
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love this comedy. They're gonna be great.
but there's so many weird gags like that they do with him being awful, where it just doesn't make any sense. Like when he goes and he says, let's see if a nun, I wonder if penguins can fly. Because he's
Yeah.
talking about, he always calls the nuns penguins.
Yeah.
And he walks up, he's a little kid, and he walks up to the nun sitting in the chair with a rope and just like unfurls this rope.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, she's swinging outside of the building from
I did
the
laugh
chair.
at that for a moment. Yes.
It's funny, but when you think about it, it's like, did this lady just sit there while he tied her up?
Yeah.
And then how did he get her out onto the route? Like, there's so many questions
No,
about this gag.
Okay, yeah, and before that, you have to ask, who is this movie for? Is it for like? Is this like a Ted movie where like, okay, it's a grown man and his doll that he wished to be alive. This is clearly for adults, or is this like a Big Daddy where it's kind of like family, or is this Dennis the Menace where this is just for kids and he's kind of a brat, he's kind of naughty,
You know what
but
this
he's not
is for?
bad. Who is this for?
People with piece of shit sense of humor.
Yeah. Who
That's
paid
what it's for.
$75 million
Yeah.
and supported
I
it.
think
Yeah.
it's like satire on those movies. Like,
It definitely is.
Dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like Dennis the Menace, they were like, oh, we're gonna try to make a movie that's good about a kid that's bad. I feel like with Problem Child, they're like, we don't give a crap if this movie's bad or
Like
not.
we talked
Like,
about
we're
this
just gonna-
before. You know where the story came from? There was a family in like Iowa or Indiana that the writers saw in the paper that had adopted a child who turned out to be a sociopath, and they wrote a horror movie.
Oh, wow.
Where the junior character is a sociopath.
They wrote
and
The Good
he's
Son.
basically.
Yeah.
With all the gags, and it's like, what do you think of when you think of a movie like this? Is Home Alone, and it's like the antithesis, the other side of the coin to the Home Alone movies, where instead of the bad guys coming in, the child is the bad one from within. The problem, the problem's inside the house, basically. But it's weird because as terrible as he is, he has these strange moments where Mr. Healy is getting to him, and he's never had love his whole life, and even Gilbert Gottfried, when he's in the orphanage, touches on it.
Yeah,
like he just needs love.
Everybody's shown love.
Everybody's treated him terribly because he's so terrible.
But there weren't enough of those moments. Is my whole argument, and like they don't sit. Like there's like those little moments where Mr. Healy like says something really nice or something really profound to him, and like they just pass it off.
He's like, "What's wrong with this guy? Is he nice?
What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I'm gonna go shoot somebody. I got nothing else to do." like the one in the very beginning where I was like, "Okay, well, hold on. Who wrote this scene?" Because they're like, it's him again. He does these voiceover work, and it's I muted it for a lot of the movie, and I just watched it on subtitles because that kid's voice got to me so much. I couldn't stand it. But like he's like, yeah, so I was doing pretty all right until I got into photography, and then they post nude photos of the nuns, and the
That's
in the
pushing
shower,
that PG label,
in like getting undressed. And the Reverend sitting on the toilet,
covering himself,
covering himself up, dude. And you're like, that's not funny, like in any regard to me. Like I don't know who, like what sick humor.
You know what it is? It's junior high kids. I mean, it's that level of humor where it's like that trashy toilet humor.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's like Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead is a huge hit, and it's very similar. Like.
Yeah, it's not smart. It's just like
it's that pocket of like gross kind of like, and I totally get Ren and Stimpy, very similar, where it's just this trashy humor.
Yeah.
That when you're in that sweet spot, like that, you know what I mean?
When it's 2 a.m. and you're delirious,
maybe you're 35 and you've had a few beers, and you're like, oh man, I remember back in the day,
hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and then you wake up in your morning and you feel dirty because you watched it.
You need to shower again.
You see the Beavis and Butthead Do America DVD, and you're like, oh no,
not again.
What have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done?
Said no more Jack Daniels.
That's hysterical. So you go to a party, you're like, hey, listen, if I have more than 3 drinks, I need to take my phone. Why? Are you going to like text your ex-girlfriend? No, I'm going to rent Beavis and Butthead. Just take away my phone or don't let me on Amazon Prime.
We get all the well actuallys. Beavis and Butthead and Ren and Stimpy both are much better quality products than the Problem Child is.
Dude, I would take those over this.
Actually,
Exactly.
Gosh, dude. So
it's his voice from Problem Child.
well, just like to summarize with this movie, though. So the whole plot is he is a terrible person. He starts pen paling with a serial killer.
Yeah, the bow tie killer.
The boat in prison, and
it's played by Michael Richards.
AKA Jerry
Kramer. Yeah,
Kramer. And this family, the Healy family,
the Healys.
adopt him, and the dad is
Well, we got to go into how they adopt him.
good person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just
Gilbert
set up though.
Gottfried sells his
So
kid.
he's a good person.
Yeah.
The dad is a good person. The
Who
wife
just wants a kid.
The wife is horrible.
Yeah, she's a terrible piece of
She
garbage.
is just all about the status of like, well, I want a baby, so like I can start being invited to these baby
To parties
birthdays and
and
parties,
dinners.
and I can be on the PTA. I can be head of PTA by the end of the week, and this whole thing. And Mr. Healy, the dad, his name is Big Ben. He's
Big
running
Ben,
for
yeah.
office of mayor of the town, and he owns Sports
He
Authority.
makes that giant scoreboard.
It's just him.
when you guys score, I want you to think of me, and he's like 40 feet tall to
Yeah.
like the 10-foot tall scoreboard.
So that's it. There's no redeemable characters except
Dude,
for
he's
Healy.
like the worst one. Big Ben.
Big Ben is the worst one.
Terrible.
Yes.
And that's the first old man ass I think I saw as a child.
I
How horrible. How horrible is that dude's
what's
ass?
worse is I'm a very visual person.
You can picture it
I
in your
can
mind.
still see it.
And if you think about it, it looks like there's just skin with a little tiny ass.
Yep. And there's a little clefts near the bottom.
Like, what is going
Hey,
on?
come on, man! I don't need the play-by-play.
And he wiggles it a little, and they jiggle very strangely.
Yep.
I said I went to school for art. I got an art degree, and I'm a very visual
It's a
person.
blessing and a curse.
Yeah,
Have good dreams tonight.
I'll never
Have
forget
good dreams
that.
tonight.
Oh, but so the wet noodle is everyone except I think Healy. But even Healy had some rough
But
moments.
again, they're not.
Yeah, because it's what they are.
The roles that they were supposed to play. Like, think
Good
of a more
point.
terrible wife.
Good
think of a
point.
more terrible Big Ben. The kid is perfect in the role of Junior.
I had a feeling you were going to take this road with me, and I was having a hard time with it on the drive here tonight. I was like, but they are good in what they're doing
They're terrible people.
because they're terrible.
good.
And
at
they
being
play the
bad.
terrible person perfectly. The wet noodle is the person that like goes in to play the role, and you're just like, I'm not buying this at all. Like, you're taking me out of the movie because your acting is not there. Like,
Yeah.
like what it would, you know, in like when we talked about trading places, like find me a wet noodle.
Yeah,
Nobody's
no,
a wet noodle
everyone's
because
good.
everyone kills the role that they're supposed to play.
Absolutely.
And we've had several movies in a row now where there's just not like Dennis is the wettest noodle of all the noodles in Dennis the Menace, and still he's not a quote unquote wet noodle.
Yeah.
We got to find a movie with a wet noodle in it. Trey's just killing it with that face. He's killing me.
That Gunther, cross-eyed Gunther from last week.
Apple.
Apple.
But definitely. And then you got Gilbert Gottfried, who's the
He's
head
always-
of the orphanage, I guess.
Yeah, what is he exactly?
He's
like
Iago.
the adoption. Yeah, he's like the adoption person at the.
next role. This is Jafar's son. Affleck.
But
oh, Gilbert, we
then
miss you. Thank
the
you.
nuns come in screaming at him to get rid of the Satan child, and because he draws demons and devils,
And they're all killing the nuns.
yeah, the penguins as he calls them the whole time. But yeah, he's a terrible kid.
No,
who's doing awful things to the nuns.
And the kid, yeah, he did have one moment where I was like, "All right, that was funny." Where he's cleaning the pots, and they're like, "You're not done cleaning, and the dinner's in 20 minutes." And there's like a mountain
Yeah.
of these gross pots.
They have like 3-inch thick crap caked on the sides.
Awful.
What are they doing? What are they making? They're just
know.
burning everything.
Slop.
It made
Yeah.
it made me so sad for like children in orphanages. But he knocks over this giant stack of pots, and one falls on the nun. And he goes, "Look, a penguin in a can.
A penguin in a pot.
A penguin in a pot." That's the only one that got me. That I was like, "Okay, that was funny."
I liked how like later when they're sitting in the lunchroom and he's playing with the meatloaf or whatever, and the kid's like, "Junior, please, please just eat your lunch. Don't get us in trouble again." Like the kids even hate him.
Other
They're
kids are like, "God,
stop,
please
stop." Yeah, like you're getting us in trouble.
They
constantly.
keep beating us.
And then he flings it to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And the nun comes out and he's like, "Oh no, it was just so good. I gobbled it all up." praise God, and the meatloaf splats on her head.
Is there like a moment where he's like, God is not here? I feel like this movie like kind of gave like Gingers a bad rap for a little bit because I mean we already
just played into the stereotype.
just kick a Ginger day.
Don't tell that kid on
Like-
YouTube that he'll freak out.
Oh my gosh, that poor Gingers, dude. They had this kid representing them, just like, what a bunch of yahoos. Like, he had one volume, and like, I can't. What's hard about it is like knowing how movies are made, knowing how many people things have to go through, and then also knowing like when they do voiceover work, that's a separate studio. Like they go out to like a group, and they have usually like a director will go, like assistant director, and be like, okay, read these lines, read it like this, try like this, and like somebody heard that kid do it just that way, same volume for for an hour and 20 minutes, and was like, perfect.
Yep. Nailed it.
Absolutely terrible. Perfect.
It's going to make everybody uncomfortable. So we're after.
I'm hearing the dollar bills rack up right now.
And
buddy.
they were right.
And they
Cha-ching,
did.
cha-ching.
God, they did. I'm
You know
upset
what?
by that.
Take that to the bank.
Another paycheck for Oliver in here. Can we go?
I feel like Junior's best jokes are when he's in the orphanage because those same pots for flinging on the ceiling, he has to clean them as a punishment. And she's like, I want to be able to see myself in those pots when you're finished. And he pulls out like a super nasty one. He's like, this one looks like you.
This one looks like you.
She's got the big weird mole on her head.
Oh, God,
It kind
yeah.
of looks like that.
There's one or two times I was like, that was funny.
It's a bang.
That was all right. That was okay. But for the rest of it,
I love when he
like-
goes to the Healy's house and I think it's the
the
part when they
clowns?
open the door and the clowns are there. And he's like, what are these people, retarded?
That's it. That's the one. So he gets adopted by the Healy's, and they're like, okay. And the whole premise of it is like, they're trying to get rid of him from the orphanage, and Gilbert Gottfried is trying to
Because he's been returned 30 times.
Yes, and they find out. So Mr. and Mrs. Healy find out that they can't have kids. Something's completely wrong,
Dude,
with-
and the way the doctor delivers, like every chance they took to make an off-colored or horrible or mean joke,
Yes.
they went all the way. The
Yeah.
doctor comes in and says, 99% of the time we're able to help people. You're in the 1% that we're not. And then he's trying to show her like on the.
They have the whole like negative positive debate. They're like,
Yes.
negative's bad. He's like, not in this case.
Yeah,
Negative's
you guys
bad.
were
Good.
positive. Oh, that's good.
No, that's
it's
bad.
not.
Yeah.
Negative
bad.
is bad. Negative is good. Positive is bad. No, positive is good. No, not in this case.
Didn't he say something like, "I'm positive you can never have a baby"?
It doesn't matter because you can't have kids.
You
No,
can't
it
do
says this means that you can positively never have a baby.
Yeah. So like they are barren. She's barren. They're
Well,
completely.
the way he's like showing the thing with like the fallopian tubes.
I'm sorry. Is there a word wrong with barren?
I don't know. We lost
Get
track.
thee to a nunnery. What I love about it is when he backs up the mic,
Yeah, so you can't hear him
he
laughing.
can still hear me because he's got his headphones on. So that doesn't matter or anything. Oh my god,
Where did we lose you there?
where did we go?
You want to share with the rest of the class?
Normally you hear like, oh, she was infertile or she was she's barren.
Barren, like a desert. We're the Glendale Water Boys.
Oh man,
But
Yeah,
so he's showing her on the model, and he's like,
Yeah.
you got your green things, you got your purple thing, and like falls off. He's like, well, that's your cervix. You don't need that.
you don't need that.
You got your ovaries and your green thing. It doesn't mean your green things are brown. Like all these horrible things.
That
he's
was
saying.
the one. That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say.
The fallopian
Your
tubes.
green things are brown.
He's
Got
like,
me.
You're super good doctor. You guys went to. And
Yeah.
then he basically says like, you can adopt, and she's like, no, I'm not adopting. I'm not going to take someone else's leftovers. She's just saying
that
this
was it.
horrible crap.
That was it. And then also, when Mr. Healy's trying to convince her, let's go adopt. The way
he has to do it.
He equates it to
Shopping.
It's like shopping.
And
all of a sudden, she's like,
dude, and the music.
yes.
When she says, he's like Simon's like,
yes.
Their head
And immediately goes to like, oh, well, I like doing that. She's like, and he's like convincing her, like, you can pick out your designer child. And it was like, and as an adopted person, I was like, this hurts.
I didn't
Did you two seriously not watch this and be like, oh man, Matt was adopted?
Yeah, but You never had to like go to a nunnery.
I didn't have to go to a nunnery. Yeah, sorry, Trey's away from his mic again. Yeah.
God, I didn't even think about that.
Nope, I didn't think about that.
All the conversation they had about, oh yeah, we're adopting a kid, we get to pick one out.
Well, thank God you didn't get her.
Like going down to a puppy mill or something like that.
Seriously?
That one. The one that looks like an athlete.
Well, it's all because they have the whole conversation about the parties and how like they're not getting invited
never
because
invited.
they can't. They're not going to get invited to a child's birthday.
Yeah,
they're not
that's
having
weird.
children.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Thank God.
Absolutely weird. Yeah.
But I think so. They decide to go down and pick up the.
I thought you had like a gong button.
Yeah, no, that was like, I think that was like,
Oh yeah,
it's like a violin against that spring. Sorry.
Twang.
So you were saying, yeah, they want to go to the parties. They want to be a part of the social club.
so they go down to the nunnery.
They go down to the
orphanage.
local nunnery and pick them one out.
Well, and he says like, okay, so you want a kid? We'll get you on the list for 7 years from now. And she's like, 7 years?
Yeah.
Oh, but I
And then
got this cat.
he convinces her to adopt Junior because they can go to the parties now.
Yeah.
They don't have to go through all the sleep.
She can be the head of PTA.
She doesn't have to gain
By the
50
end of the
pounds.
week.
By the end of the week, exactly. Oh, and that's how he puts it to her.
Yeah.
Is it, oh, well, you don't have to deal with, you don't have to
Be up all night with
be up all night,
feedings. and-
change dirty diapers, and gain 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, right, shit.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to have a kid.
Yep.
And so, God, like, okay, so they hand him off to these kids, but then they get home and they open the door to his room as the clown room from hell.
Yeah.
And I was
Well,
like,
hadn't-
where did you want this to go?
It just come out?
I don't know.
91? Oh, I think
No,
it
'cause
was
this is
89.
90. This is 90.
Oh, was it 90?
When did the original It come out?
I think the
But I
original
love
it
when
came
they
out in
when they
89.
walk into the house. Well, first of all, when they leave the orphanage and the whole orphanage celebrates, and Mr. Healy is like, "Oh, look!" Little Ben is like, "Look, they all came out. He must be their favorite. They all came out to see him off." And as
Yeah.
soon as the car drives away, they're like, "Yay!" Like a
Yeah.
full party
Yeah.
breaks out.
Let the sun shine.
Yeah, exactly. And then they walk into the house, and he says, "Oh, you're home." And he's like, "Look how nice this place is."
Yeah.
And there's all the tchotchkes and crap on the thing.
God.
And he's like, "Hope you guys are insured." And then he says, "Oh, and I want you to come meet the bird."
cat and the bird.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bird. Because the cat is a major part of the movie too. But come meet the bird. And he's like, say hello to Junior. And the bird says, hello. And he goes, is that all he says? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then
the
they
only
move
word he
on.
knows. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
like, really?
Yeah, and has this devilish look
God,
the
dude.
whole time. And he wears the
Can't.
freaking bow tie the whole movie.
Okay,
like,
that killed me too.
like the bow tie killer.
So the serial killer that he spins pals with is the bow tie killer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wears a bow tie to like emulate this.
Yeah.
Dude, my favorite part of the whole movie, when they go to the prison,
Okay.
when he writes the letter and it goes to the prison to show Michael or the bow tie killer get the letter, and he's holds up the letter, read this, and the guy walks up and snatches it and reads the letter to him about how he's getting out, and he's like, they're letting that guy out because he thinks it's another criminal writing him letters,
who's like a fan in another prison.
and they're gonna get out and they're gonna run together and like commit crimes and terror.
He's gonna make a friend.
Yeah, and he's like from JR. The guy always reads it JR.
Yeah.
And right then the warden comes in, favorite part of the whole movie. And the warden's like, oh, look at you looking so pretty with your little bow tie. And he's like,
role model.
Yeah, he's like, hey, warden, catch. And he throws like a 50-pound dumbbell.
Kettlebell. It's a
like
kettlebell.
there's a dumbbell. And he just launches this thing like a football, hits
Like
him
30 feet
dead in the
air.
chest
Yeah.
and throws the warden off the back of the thing. That's like my favorite part of the whole movie for some reason. Just the way he throws that dumbbell, like so perfect. It was so funny.
So he gets out and he's now on the pursuit to go find JR.
He does the whole scene with the ink blots.
Yes, and he's like, I see fluffy white clouds.
And he's like, there's no white. There's no, this is black and white pictures. There's no red. There's no pink. And then finally the doctor throws him out and he says, so what do you see in this one? And he goes, he sees violence. He sees those people he killed in the woods. He sees blood. And he's
Jeez,
like,
dude.
he's like, oh no, I see fluffy clouds. And then he says, then he throws out the warden, the doctor, and he says, what do you see in this one? I see blood. And he attacks him and he kills him.
I
guess.
assume that he murdered him.
Yeah, I guess he
there.
killed
Yeah,
him.
so now there's murder in the movie.
Yeah,
in
off
the kids'
screen.
movie, off
Never
screen.
talked about.
No.
But
Not
he
even
gets out of the
addressed.
prison like that.
Yeah. But
And then
but they keep calling the kid Junior.
His name.
Junior's not a name.
It's his name.
But it's not a name.
Junior to who?
Like, yeah, exactly. Who? Junior?
We know
What
Junior.
are you gonna be? You know a junior, like a legitimate, like his name is Junior freaking
Junior
something.
Bevel.
Junior Seau.
Junior Bevel.
Without saying
Junior Seau played NFL football for years. San Diego Chargers, Miami Dolphins.
I'm still not on it. That Junior's a name.
I knew kids.
Sorry.
Junior Bevel was on the Jamaican bobsled team.
There you go, Junior. Yeah.
Okay, but he had a dad, and he knew his last name. Let's go with that. All right, this kid is just
That was Junior Healy.
Junior. Yeah.
Junior Healy, yeah.
Junior Healy.
Exactly.
I would hate that as a kid.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a sucky
and
name.
the way that so Bill. Sorry, is it Bill? Am I right? No, with Healy.
Big Ben.
Ben. Sorry, Ben. There's Ben and there's Big Ben. And Big Ben.
Little Ben and Big Ben. They call him Little Ben.
They keep calling him Little Ben. And I would have been like, that needs to stop.
Dude, the terrible scene when you first meet Big Ben.
Yeah.
When they're at the sports, he owns like a sports authority.
The Sportatorium.
Yeah, Sportatorium. And he calls him into his office and tells him, I'm selling the company to the Japs.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, what?
Well, walking in though, the whole thing is he's like, American products for American people.
And he's standing behind
American things.
He's got the background as a giant American flag when he tells him I'm selling the company to the Japs. It's like, what?
He's like, I'm selling the Japs. And he's like, everything?
Yeah.
He's like, what about, you said you were going to give it to me. And he's like,
going to
nope.
give me that land.
Yeah, he's like,
selling it all to him.
selling land too.
Yep.
Everything to him.
But I've worked for you for 10 years without so much as a raise or a promotion.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm super disappointed. I thought you'd do some backstabbing. Like, what? You didn't learn a lesson I tried to teach you. Like,
what is this family, dude?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I think Little Ben and Junior like switched places somehow.
No, and then the whole, oh my God, man, it hit me when, they bring him over because they're like, oh, he's going to be so excited. Big Ben is going to be a grandpa. And he comes over, and the first thing he does too is when he like holds out a cigar that says, it's a boy on it. He immediately turns to the wife, Flo, and he goes, I thought you were getting fat, and started like poking her tummy, which you got to imagine is like the best thing you can do to a pregnant person.
Don't do that.
And then they get upstairs and they're like, okay, prepare to meet the new member of your family, Junior Healy. And like he finds out that they adopted, and he's like, what? The Big Ben, the grandfather, is like, what are you, insane? You don't know where this kid came from. He could have came from like a druggie and like all this, and he could be a psycho. And I had another moment where I was like, oh, that doesn't hurt. All right. Let's just keep moving with this movie. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just keep going. I've met both sides of my family.
This movie sucks.
They're lovely people. This movie sucks. This movie's terrible.
This movie's so inaccurate.
Anyway, so they open the door and already Junior started a fire.
Yeah, one of the toys malfunctioned.
He lights one of the clowns on fire somehow.
He was setting it out like he was set out. That's the thing about like the difference here between Dennis the Menace and Junior. Junior purposefully looked for
He's a sociopath.
Yes, ways to like create chaos or to destroy. Dennis is just like his objective is to help, but the way he helps is
he keeps
the
screwing
problem.
it up left and right.
Is the problem, right? So they go outside and they meet the mom, who's like the most normal person in this movie, and her daughter's having a birthday on Saturday.
And her daughter's a terrible piece of crap.
Horrible person as well. Like she's 6 and I hate her.
Now you also get that where she's coming from as a little kid, like you don't understand, like if your mom doesn't sit down and explain to you the concept of adoption, and because she's like, they didn't have a kid and now they have a 7-year-old, like what the hell is going on here? And look how he dresses. He's wearing a bow tie. He's got no soul. Like what is going on here?
Yeah,
I mean, he's a ginger. Excuse me.
Don't be talking about my bow tie.
And finally, the mom's like, well, I guess we're not going to have any cupcakes or any ice cream
or a clown. What was the deal with clowns?
I don't know.
Right now, dude.
It did come out in 1990, so they might have been riding that train.
Maybe.
Yeah, they might have been riding the It train because you're right. The 1990 It with Tim Curry was that was
and they did like an awfully good job at making his room terrifying.
It was horrible.
Oh my gosh,
horrible.
If you opened the door and that was my room now, I'd be like, I'm out. I'll sleep on the street. Bump this.
I don't need to be adopted that bad.
Like I take you back to the orphanage. I'll sleep with the penguins.
The ones in a bucket.
It's
the penguin in the bucket.
For all those listening, it really is quite terrifying in the way like they open that door, and it's not like over the top. It's beyond over the top.
Yes.
It's awful. Like
I'm waiting for like a giant Jack in the Box to like
like the one from Harry Potter that they keep turning into things. Like,
the boggart.
That's right,
or the one outside Fred and George's store that does like the
the magic rabbit hat of it. So he goes to the party. He's trying, like, there were a couple moments where, like, all right, maybe this is where the heart comes in. Maybe this is the moment where, like, we start seeing another side of Junior.
It's like Mr. Healy's getting to him, like Little Ben's getting to him ever so slightly. And with the things he's saying to him, the things he wants to do.
And really, it's normal stuff. It's like normal,
positive that's not
reinforcement.
Even yet. They don't go to the party yet.
Yeah.
They go camping first.
Okay. Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I mixing that up?
I think so.
Because the camping thing was horrible, too.
He guides the bear in.
No, how about even before that?
How about when they're riding there in the car?
Yeah.
And Mr. Healy's talking to him about how excited he is to be camping with him and spending time with his son. And the entire time he's firing the slingshot out the window, and every time he lets it go, you hear because he's hitting birds with every shot, every single shot.
Oh,
and then they pull up and he's like,
daiquiri.
yeah, exactly. If you know zombies, you know what we're talking about.
So I had a moment where I was watching that scene. And I was like, the only part, because I watched this movie twice, and I was like, the only part that could have made that scene funnier is if like a bald eagle, like a dead hit the windshield, and like the dad was like, "Well, gosh, they must be mating season or something." Like, not sure why. But that's the only line. That's the only note I had for that scene. But so they get to camping, and like first of all,
says that the guy reserved like a great spot for him.
Yeah,
and it's right by the porta potties and the dumpster. In the background, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is a great spot he got for us, right by the toilets."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, so check out that bobolink." And then he like crawls in the tent. There's just all the farting, and he's like, "That's a big bobolink."
Can I just go on record and can I get your opinion? Is camping awful? Because it's awful to me. I've never liked the idea of camping, and I should, as a native. I should be like, oh yeah, let's go sleep outside, and I'm not okay.
I don't think you have to sleep in a teepee,
but I don't know. I don't want to sleep anywhere on the outside. Is the thing, teepee or not, teepee or wigwam? I would much rather have a house. I'm not. I just don't.
I could glamp. I'm down with glamping.
I could glamp. Glamp is the furthest extreme I can. I love that Trace. Sorry, but yeah, glamping, because I'll sit outside and build a fire. But if there's, as long as there's like a cabin I can go to, because I'm not doing. Because I keep thinking like every day it was like this person who went camping in the Everglades woke up and they didn't realize they had like accidentally camped like on an alligator mating like area, and so they unzip their tent. Turn on a flashlight, and there's like 50 gators in and around. Yeah, it is like, just put it back.
There's that video on Instagram where the guy unzips his thing, and when the thing opens, it's a massive grizzly bear, and he just goes, "Weep,"
I'm not
and
okay.
zips it right back up. Like, oh my gosh!
From the movie The Blair Thumb. Where they're, have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, the Blair. You haven't seen. You haven't seen.
No way.
Can't take it. I am.
You haven't themed the Thumb Wars. You haven't themed those Thumb movies. Are you serious? Wait, none of you have seen the Thumb movies?
What is it, like made out of thumbs?
Oh my God, it's
thumbs over here.
It's Bob Odenkirk, the guy who did Kung Pao,
Better Call Saul,
and Better Call. Yeah, so no, different guy.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, no, maybe it's him. Anyways, so he does his thumbs in these famous movies. There's like Thumbtanic,
So it's the Blair Witch Project, but it's with a thumb.
And there's Thumb Wars, and then there's the Blair Thumb, and it's so funny. It's such a niche of comedy. But anyways, they're running through the forest, and they're like, "Quick, let's get back to the tent," because it's the Blair Witch. And let's go back to the tent. And one of them comments, "Oh yeah, because nothing can break through the impenetrable nylon." And that's what I think about every time I think about going camping. But okay,
dude,
so
there's so many of those videos like that too, where like there's the African lionesses.
Oh no,
humongous lionesses, and they're licking the dew off the guy's tent while he's sleeping in it,
and he's just.
Yeah, they're drinking the water. Like the tongue is like the side of the tent. Like, oh my god!
I could sleep on that. No, but nothing about it. So they go camping, and again, like
I can't remember if you're right or not. If I switched them, but let's go with camping for now. I may have switched the party and the camping.
He goes to a party and he like ruins the birthday party.
Yeah, but that's
we'll get to that
scene.
too. Yeah, but like with the camping part, the whole thing, he's like. The kids are having
excited
a good time,
about the bears,
but he's not a normal kid.
No,
like he's all the other kids.
I love the line that he says where he's like, "Oh, here's whatever's kids. There's 5 of them," and he's like, "They all share one brain. The one on the end's got it today.
He's got it today."
And then they're like, and he's like, "Let's start a forest fire," and they're like, "That's bad," and he's like, "Yeah, that's why it's funny."
Yeah,
and then he says, "Let's just." Give him the silent treatment. They're all like, yeah. And then he goes, ignore this. And stands up and just pees on the fire and puts it out. They're like, oh my God, and runs inside. But the dad, who's like super crappy of those 5 kids, brings
he's a terrible person as well.
The bear costume that looks pretty good for a bear costume to scare legit. Them. And so he shows little Ben that he's going to do this. And Junior goes out and lures an actual black bear.
Just like a raw steak.
Yeah.
He's like, you ever been camping?
You're going to love it.
First of all, you ever just find a bear that quick?
Yeah.
like he had it in a couple seconds.
Well, when you're the spawn of Satan, you have like
they follow you. They can smell you.
He just summoned it.
The bears can smell the menstruation.
Okay.
That's from Anchorman.
Yeah, I really. Well, yeah, so that was the scene I was going to do. He pees on the fire.
Yeah.
Just like openly pees the fire out.
Don't give me the silent treatment.
No one else, like no parent intervenes. Like, hey, buddy, that was a really weird thing to do. Like here's what they said. Here's your reaction.
Right.
And they're way out of balance, bud. Like just normal reactions to like criticism. Let's go with that. Because that was I just get that. Whenever anyone criticized this kid, he retaliated with
he took it to 11.
Yeah, he took it to 11. That's right. But these go to 11.
Why not just make 10 higher?
Yeah.
Because this one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11.
But then he goes to the birthday party, and this was the other part too, where like I'm just like,
well, real quick before we leave the camping.
Sorry.
So after he brings in the bear, and then the other dad shows up after they run the bear off.
Yeah.
And in his suit, he's like dancing around and everything, and just the everything's in shambles. Everybody's freaked out. Everybody's pissed off, and Mr. Healy is standing there, and he hears laughing, and he looks up in the tree, and Junior's cracking up, and he's up in the tree,
like,
and that's when he realizes like. Oh man, there's like a problem.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think the party did come before this, because that's where he has this like really like, what the hell was that? Like that was really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to the party, and he's trying to be normal. He's trying to like participate in the things, and he's checking out the presents. He's just looking at them.
Genuinely trying to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's looking at the presents.
Get away from my presents. And he's like, I was just looking at them. And she's like, you're going to break them. And he's like, what the hell?
I am now.
Yeah. And then the mom is like, hey, time for the magic show. And he's like, oh, cool. But now he is dressed like the devil.
Yeah. He is literally dressed like Satan.
Horns, red leotard,
weird mustache. He looks like the dude from Hocus Pocus.
He does look like it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's who he's junior of.
Yeah, that's his dad. That's his illegitimate child.
Actual dad.
That's why he brought him, because
it's
probably with his sister actor in that movie from Hocus Pocus. But I thought it would have been funnier, and I was like, this would have been funnier if he was dressed like an angel. Like the fact that they just like
the satire.
It's on the thumb.
It's so on the nose.
Yeah. It's sorry. Yeah. So yeah. And I just like
he's so caught up on the thumbs now.
So on the
thumb war. Have you not seen this movie? Sorry. You need to see these movies. I'm talking like Mike Tyson. Do you love my pigeons? Yeah. So he's trying his best to be a part of normal society at this party, and this horrible child is like, you're not allowed to come watch the magic show. You can't
come to my magic show. It's my party, and I can decide.
It bothered me so much, like, because I've been to so many parties. Like, parents are everywhere.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess the house is big, but not that big.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, that was really mean. Why? Like,
that's not okay.
Just go out and sit and watch the damn magic show. So instead,
say it just like that.
Yeah.
Just go watch the damn. What you gonna do?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Because I mean, I teach my kids. There's no such thing as bad words. There's just appropriate words. Words are words. Okay. There's words that are appropriate for certain things. Anyways, so like he then takes it upon himself to throw all the presents into a lake.
I thought it was in the pool.
Yeah, he's like, I got a magic show of my own.
Yeah. He takes a frog, which I thought was brilliant, actually. He takes the frog and he puts it in the punch bowl. And I was like, wow, that's really smart.
Cuts open the piñata.
Yeah, cuts
dumps
the piñata.
Like the pickles and the olives and like the full jar of liquid and all inside this piñata, and they break it open. It just covers them in this crap.
In vinegar.
And I love it how the whole time it's playing It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To.
Yeah.
While it's just the worst crap happening to this little girl's party.
He drags a hose. And this was the part.
Into her.
I was like, who didn't see the 7-year-old dragging the hose?
They're all at the magic show.
Yeah.
He brought it from inside.
Dragging the hose up the stairs from the outside. Like, first of all, I'd be like, who left the door open? Hold on. The door's like this. So he drags his hose upstairs into the girl's bedroom, presumably, with the sprinkler head on.
Turns on the sprinkler in her
bedroom. And
it starts
just dousing the place. And I was like, okay, if you're going to be an evil, like, little creep.
I'm telling you.
Man, he's good at it.
11.
He's at 11.
That's right.
Because he's brilliant as a psychopath.
This kid goes to 11.
That's right. He only has one speed.
Oh my gosh.
It's 0 or 11.
So they keep trying to like have these heart-to-heart moments. Like there's the baseball game.
They go home after the party.
Okay.
And he's like, man, you should have, maybe even be after camping.
Yeah.
When he's talking to his wife, he's talking to Flo, the terrible piece of crap.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, something tells me that like Junior liked it. Like the way he was laughing,
he enjoyed it.
He was enjoying that, and the bird flies in, and he's like, "Up, stick it up," and he's like, "Up yours," and the bird can only say hello or whatever.
Yeah,
and he says some other like cuss word at the time. And they're like, "What the hell?" And he breaks the cat's legs.
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
There's the scene where he's like going into the drawers in the beginning after they like the first night he's there, and John Ritter's character comes out and says,
Healy.
He says, "What are you doing out here, bud?" And he said, "Oh, because it was after the fire with the clowns. Big Ben falls down the stairs and has to go get rushed to the hospital. Yeah, and he gets rushed to the hospital, and the cat breaks its front legs, and it flows like poor Mr. Whatever, like the poor cat. And little Ben's like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah,
like. My father's rushed to the hospital, and Junior's probably terrified by what happened here today. And all you can think about is your stupid cat.
Well, they're putting him on the stretcher. Big Ben's like, "Get rid of that kid.
Get rid of him. Get rid of that kid."
When he goes back in, Junior's going through his wallet, taking counting the money out and everything.
Well, that was like his punishment after the birthday party. He's like, "You have to give me the $1 back."
Your allowance.
Like, I wonder if he has change for a 20. And he like opens the drawer and it's covered in money.
50s and that this child has stolen from other people.
From Big Ben.
Yeah, from Big Ben. Well, like the other part too, like when you watch that scene where like, okay, so the fire starts and Big Ben is upset and he's like, "Why did you adopt this kid?" and stuff, and he's about to throw the cat. The clip, it is like a second long, and I rewound it a couple of times. The way this little ginger actor kid grabs that cat is so aggressive. Like it's almost like they said action, and like they were just like, okay, and you're just gonna put your hand on the cat. No, this kid's hand like smacks down on the back of that head of that cat, and you're just like, okay, whoa, cut a little too much, buddy, because like, and he tosses in as a fake cat, and it's hilarious. But like, I went around that a couple times, and I was like, this was aggressive.
Yeah.
This movie was starting to get out of hand, I think, in pre-production. It was bad.
Sure,
dude.
it was.
Oh,
But then
man.
when he's going through the drawers because he's going to write I'm going to write a thank you note to Big, or a get well note to Big Ben.
That's right, yeah.
And he's like, no, this is Mom's special drawers. We got to stay out of here. This is where her crochet is and her needle point.
Yeah.
And he slides the first drawer closed, and it's like the dudes on the magazine with like the 24-pack abs and stuff. And he's like, huh. And he closes
Slides
that
the next
drawer,
drawer.
and it's like the same thing with a different dude. And he's like, huh.
She's a terrible person.
Yeah, just like every turn that they could, they show how awful everybody in this movie is, except for Little Ben.
Absolutely terrible.
And the funniest part is, in real life, John Ritter and the actress whose name is Amy Yasbeck met during the filming of this movie, fell in love, and got married in 1999.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so something good came of this.
Yeah, and she's like a warm, loving person in real life who just plays this horrible, horrible woman in this
Good
movie.
actress.
Dude,
she
she
is
plays
really
it
good.
well.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I can't stand her.
She plays it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the climax of the film is the bow tie killer played by
Escapes
Kramer
prison.
Yeah.
escapes prison, and he comes to their house.
comes to meet up with JR.
meet with JR, and she thinks he convinces the kid convinces them
This is my Uncle Marty.
Uncle Marty, and she's like, oh great, the wife Flo is like, oh great, we can give the kid to Uncle Marty, and he'll take him home, and we can have
And this
the
was
kid over
already, they had already tried to return him to the orphanage, and the only thing that stopped them from actually returning him was when Little Ben found out he'd been returned 30 times.
30 times.
And he was like, no, I can't. And at a different point, he came in and the kid was praying, like, please take it easy on Mr. Healy. He's the only one who's ever been nice to me. So it's like these little tiny moments.
He gives him the prune.
and they're just
they do the whole prune. Where it's
He's
like,
like,
what is it?
My grandfather gave me this.
It's a dried prune.
It's a dried prune. He got kind of senile toward the end.
I've
it's
carried it
like,
around in
okay,
my pocket for 30 years.
You think maybe this will be a nice moment, and then you're like, oh no, he was just crazy.
No, it's crazy grandpa.
All right, fine. It's like, because I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a pocket watch or something. You're like, I remember this moment. Here you go. So, no, here's a prune. I think is gold. Here you
Well,
go,
then
buddy.
when they sit down to dinner with Uncle Marty, the bow tie killer, and Flo gets up to get more food, and he goes into the kitchen with her,
This is the part. Yeah.
and he's like, I haven't been with a woman in 15 years, and she's like sitting there doing that, and he comes over to like basically to rape her,
Yeah.
and he makes out with her, and she's like, did you say 15 years?
Yeah.
And then latches onto him and starts making out with him. And the funniest part is if you have the subtitles on and stuff, you can hear him saying like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Hold on a
Like,
minute. Yeah. Wait.
He's like begging her to stop.
She takes it over.
Exactly. She becomes the raper instead of the rapee.
Talking about a twist.
A twist.
A twist of
Well,
a
then,
movie. Is that M. Night Shyamalan over there? Oh my God.
Well, so I can't remember what happens that night, but something happens with maybe it's the baseball game.
Yeah.
No, but this is after, right? Because
Yeah, this is way after when Kramer comes to
okay,
dinner.
so the baseball game happens, then he drives the car and he smashes the car.
Yeah, because he thinks that like they're gonna give him up.
Yeah,
He
because they
finds
go to
out.
that's right. They go to the orphanage to give him up, and Junior drives the car and with Little Ben hanging onto the top of it.
Yeah.
And he smashes it into Big Ben's store and like crashes into the
tennis
huge
balls.
tennis ball thing and now Little Ben has snapped and he is completely like
He's unhinged.
He's like in a psychotic break and he's just out of it. And the phone rings and he picks it up and he's like, hello. And the guy's like, Little Ben, you sitting down? Yeah. Sorry to tell you this, but your dad emptied your bank account to pay for the damage to his store. And he's just like, drops the phone, no reaction whatsoever.
$100,000 for tennis balls and a glass window.
Yeah, exactly.
$100,000 gone.
Yeah. And he's done.
He goes up to Junior's room with a pillow. He's got
like a sandbag.
No, it's a pillow. It says like
okay.
Home Sweet Home.
Oh,
on
that's
it.
right, yeah.
And he's gonna smother him.
Yeah. And that's when the doorbell rings, right?
That's when the doorbell rings, and then that's when Junior takes off with
Kramer.
Like that's when they introduce you to the bow tie killer,
Right.
and then they sit down to dinner, and the whole time
He's holding the pillow.
he's holding yes at the dinner table and everything. He never lets go of it, and they say something to him at one part, or no, they're just talking, and he's in the background like.
It's like he's waiting for the perfect moment to strangle this child.
Then he wakes up in the morning.
Keeping his
He goes
options
walking
open.
by in his pajamas, still holding on to the Home Sweet Home pillow.
right.
And on the wall, there's a huge ransom note that says, "If you ever want to see your wife and kid again, it'll cost you $100,000." And he like walks past, then he turns around and comes back in, and he's like,
They're gone.
"They're gone." And he starts like freaking out, all happy. He goes to his room.
Day, baby.
He goes to
He's
his room and he's like,
chucks the
"Here's
pillow.
Daddy." And he's smashing his room all up and everything.
He does the bit from The Shining where he hits the door.
Yeah.
There's a
He
hole
does
in
it.
the
There's
door.
just a hole in the door
Yeah.
that Junior put
that's
there.
right.
And he goes in there and he's like, "Here's Daddy," instead of "Here's Johnny."
But he was celebrating his wife gone and
Can
like
you
his,
blame
and his
him?
kid
Dude,
gone.
his wife is awful.
Dude, so
Dude, we didn't even tell the line when they're sitting at the doctor's office, and she's like, "So you mean we've been trying every night for nothing?"
yeah,
and it's
for
like,
nothing.
"I've been having sex with this guy for nothing."
And he does that nice slow like head turn.
You're
like,
"What?
really?
Wow, that's awful to say."
All
It's not me.
right.
Slow head turn.
Yeah. No.
That reminds me of, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but in Family Guy.
hold on.
There's my favorite like slow head turn moment is there's a Family Guy episode where he meets Tom Tucker's kid.
Oh yeah, upside
And
down.
the kid has an upside down face, and Brian goes to Stewie and he's like, "Look, whatever you do, just don't mention his upside down face." And Stewie's like, "Oh, screw you, I'm so polite."
Yeah.
And they walk in and he's like, "Listen, Mr. Tucker, you know, this whole situation where he's framing Chris, it's just really turned his life upside down face." And Stewie's like,
that slow look.
and his head turns like
Yeah.
almost all the way.
You gotta remember that was like 2002,
Yeah.
dude. That's almost 22-year-old
So
joke.
funny.
It's ridiculous.
Really
Yeah.
turned his life upside down face.
Upside down face. Yep. Yep.
But then he starts going through in the movie at that part. He starts going through Junior's drawers and
Yeah.
he finds all the drawings, and it's Flo looking like a demon and
Yeah.
Big Ben looking terrible.
Yeah.
And then he finds him and Mr. Healy.
The weirdest drawing
the
of Mr.
Foster.
Healy.
Hey.
Yeah.
He drew me as Henry Winkler.
The other Family Guy joke. That episode, that's my favorite Family Guy moment where he's like, where the Fonz is his spiritual guide.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, Fonz, real quick before you go, I got to ask you one thing. You had sex with a lot of women back in the day." And he's like, "Yep." And he's like, "Did you ever get any VD?" He's like, "Herpes twice and the clap." Hey, and then he fades into the clouds. Yeah. But little Ben has this moment of like, he really loved me.
And he finds the prune.
Yeah, the
he
prune
saved
in
the
the
prune
thing.
in the drawer.
Yeah.
He's like, he really cared about me. Like, I was getting to him. I was changing him. So now he goes on this mission to get at least him back. He doesn't care about Flo.
No.
Which is a funny running joke.
Who is shoved in a suitcase.
Yeah, because she won't shut the hell up. She's screaming at the bow tie killer.
Put in a suitcase and then put in a trunk.
In the trunk.
Yeah.
In the trunk.
And you can hear her like,
I mean, just to draw the contrast here between Dennis the Menace and this movie, that what happens? Problem child meets villain and then goes on adventure with him. But this one takes it that he's a murderer. Like we know
serial
he's
killer.
a murderer, serial killer.
and Junior's hyped.
Yeah.
And he's like all about it.
brings a
He's like,
suitcase
where
full
are we going?
Like, I brought guns and ammunition. And
Yeah.
it's like, these are toys.
And dynamite.
Yeah.
And the wife is about it too. Like
Yeah.
she goes with him willingly in some capacity.
And is worse than he is,
Yeah.
other than the killing people part.
Yes. So like they do the big chase scene. And he's tracking her down. He's doing this whole thing.
Yeah, he's got to meet him at the circus. He goes to his
Yeah.
father for money,
hate
and his
clowns.
father's
Yes.
like, not a chance.
And that's where his dad, Big Ben, shows his ass.
Yeah, because
on TV.
he turns the camera on and he's like, "Why don't you tell these people what you really think?" And he destroys his whole campaign.
Yeah.
And-
Which we never see the end of.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the end of it.
That's the end of
Because
it.
everybody in town saw his little tiny ass inside of it's like a Russian doll ass.
Yes, it was like a small inside of a big That is exactly how you describe it. So if you're gonna watch Problem Child, I think it's in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Probably.
Just go an hour and 10 in just to see that scene. And I love that there's people in a bar watching the TV and they see it. And I don't think anyone reacts, do they? Like no one's like,
just like,
oh no, everyone's
like,
just staring
what
at
the
it.
hell? Oh gosh,
Yeah.
give me another drink.
That's what it is. Yeah, just keep drinking. It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Anyway, so they go on this big pursuit chase, and after they meet at the circus. And
Junior drives the car, and little Ben's shooting at the other car,
Shooting
and
the tires.
they go over the train tracks, and on the overpass over the train tracks, and it throws the suitcase out of the trunk with Flo into the truck with a giant fat hog, humongous hog,
huge pig, yeah.
You know, a pig becomes a hog at 180 pounds.
Oh, is that right?
Your wife.
That's
from
more
Little Big
fat.
League.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't make your wife.
That's more
Fat.
than I could ever know. Okay. Well, so and then they get to that part where and I was like, okay, maybe this is that heartfelt moment, and they have a heart to heart. They have a moment, and then they add this little scene to it where I'm like, what are we doing? Where Kramer
shoots
him,
grabs one of the police officer's guns after he's been hammered and shoots him.
No, tries to shoot Junior.
Yeah, tries to kill the kid. And then
Little Ben
Mr.
jumps
Haley,
in the way.
Little Ben jumps in the way.
Bullet.
And you know what it hits?
Yeah.
The dried
It hit the
prune.
prune. And the best is the way he delivers the line to the officer.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you all right, Mr. Healy?" He's like, "Yeah, got me in the prune."
It got me in the world, man. In I think it was 2003 when John
He died
Ritter
on
passed
9/11.
away.
Oh, is that right?
He died
2003.
9/11/2003.
Wow.
No way.
I mean,
Wow.
the world lost a really great actor. Like John Ritter's fantastic.
Come and knock on our door.
Yeah, he was great on that show, 8 Simple Rules, and like
Three's
just
Company.
Yeah, but for sure, Three's Company.
Yeah, he was.
And
Definitely
if you have
a good
never
guy.
seen the really, really, really obscure movie, but stay tuned.
I've heard of it. I've never seen
It's
it.
a great movie.
Why was that?
It's not really good at all, but
no. But why was that on my IMDb earlier today?
because we talked about it in our production meeting.
Problem Child.
We talked about it in our production meeting doing that movie.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a movie where
Stay tuned.
the devil sells him a satellite dish.
Okay,
And it sucks people in, and then it's this game show to see if they can survive in the devil's
It's like
world.
Squid Game.
Oh yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of more like what's that movie with the box? Everybody, where it's like it's an evil box. Why are you like an evil puzzle box? Then why are you trying to say Pinhead?
A Hellraiser?
Hellraiser.
Oh, I was
Yes,
like,
Hellraiser.
Poltergeist?
I was like, why?
Kinda.
I was like, if someone says, "Oh, this is an evil puzzle box,"
Right.
try to solve it. What?
It's like
No.
The Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't watch
Don't
the tape.
Don't watch
why,
tape.
Why am I doing that? I came over to watch the football game.
And the phone rings. Just don't answer it.
Just don't answer, dude. Like, just disconnect it. What's wrong with you? Yeah, so with this movie, again, it gets to the end, and I'm like, who was that for? Like, the whole, like, he caught a bullet, like, in his, and then he had this moment, and he's like, well, I guess he's cool, and I'll
No,
stay
it's
with him.
it's
Like,
the part where Junior thinks he's dying, and he's like,
Yeah.
I won't be a bad kid
the
anymore.
most
I'll go to
insincere,
and he's just like saying
plead.
all this stuff, and then he wakes
He's like,
up.
I love you.
Yeah.
I love you, Mr. Heath. I love you, Dad. I love
Yeah.
you, Dad.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, you're not going to hold me to all that stupid
crap.
stuff I said.
Didn't he say that? Didn't he go that all that crap I said? Doesn't he say that?
Yeah, I think so.
That's just like, why?
He said, I just want you to be yourself. And it's like, you've seen him be himself. You don't want that
No,
at all.
you don't want to be
better.
himself.
Be better.
This kid's gonna murder people, dude. Like, if you keep letting him be
Take
himself,
that damn bow tie off.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, doesn't he throws away the bow tie?
I think so.
At the end of the movie, like he's letting go of being the problem child. Lo and behold, Problem Child 2, 1991, right after this came out.
And one day we will do Problem Child too.
God, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that at all. Oh, bro.
I've actually seen.
And there's the girl in
well,
it.
I remember.
I mean, it's
that.
better than Problem Child 1.
I remember that one more vividly than I remember Problem
You
Child.
probably won't like it still. It's another movie about being terrible.
Yeah, I'm not.
And now
I'm
there's
not
two
looking
of
forward
them.
to it. Now there's two
Yeah.
children.
It's Dutch
Two
Dora.
children in the movie
He
did
screws
not like.
I screw you, he screws me. It's Dutch Dorak.
Exactly.
Dude.
But the funniest line of the whole movie
yeah,
is
Yeah, man.
the line about, he's like, I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he's like, and no one will ever know why he loves me. Like whatever happened to Mrs. Same thing as whatever happened to Mrs. Healy.
yeah.
And it cuts to her in
She
the back.
opens the-
Yeah, it's still in the back of the thing, and the two
Two drivers.
Two guys are in the Hispanic guys are in the front, and he says, "Hey man, I think there's something wrong with your pig." And he's like, "Yes, he's got stomach issues."
Oh.
And she opens up the suitcase from the inside right as the giant hog ass farts in her face, and she's like,
I read into that he did worse, dude. I read into that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He had the chutes and ladders
I'm
going
sure.
on. The Hershey squirts.
Yep.
There it is.
I wouldn't
How
doubt
funny.
it.
So, is there anything else you want to say about this movie? I have nothing else that I want to contribute.
Something that I found funny is during like their ad campaign, they included like villain reviews of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So like 4-star fun for the whole gang, and it was Al Capone. Like it was credited to Al Capone. It's like 2 thumbs up, and it was credited to Captain Hook. And he's like 10 out of 10. Junior had me in stitches. It's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Then this one is like, this kid gives me nightmares. That was Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. I saw that.
He's like,
yeah.
Junior's a real cut up, and it's Leatherface.
Oh man.
And then he's like, I wish he were my son, and it's Darth Vader. And then the last one is, don't have a cow. It's just see the movie, dude. It's part 6.
Yeah, dude. I think if we gave this kid a lightsaber and some training, he's killing younglings.
Absolutely.
Episode 3, he's killing younglings.
There won't be any Order 66. He's just killing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dogging Vader for not killing the Emperor. Why are you listening to this guy?
Why are you talking?
Look how wrinkly he is.
Bunch of yahoos around here. Oh,
What are you, retarded?
Yeah. God, that line, dude.
But oh shoot, I lost what I was gonna say. The poster art.
Yeah.
Poster art, yeah.
There's the movie The Parenthood with Steve Martin, and he's holding his 2 children by the ankles like that.
That's right. Yeah.
And they played it where they took Junior and he's holding Flo and Little Ben Healy by their ankles upside
really?
down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Parenthood with Steve Martin
It's a
and Martin
funny
Short.
movie, dude.
That's
It's
a funny
weird
one.
movie. With
That's
Keanu
good.
Reeves is in it.
Oh, he is.
Like
Keanu.
Yeah.
Likes to butt things with his hand.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
You know, after I shoot a man in his guts, after I shoot a man, slip around on his guts for a while, I like to make balloon animals.
What on earth?
That's from The Parenthood.
I don't remember that line at all.
Help.
Dude, you gotta watch that movie. That's
I'm gonna
a
go
weird.
back.
That's a
I'm gonna
weird
go back.
movie, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back. I remember them. Remember the opening scenes of
Sliding
that.
into
Yeah.
third, and you lay a juicy turd, diarrhea.
That's where that
Diarrhea.
comes from. Holy
I mean, that's
cow.
that. We used to sing that when I was a kid.
Yeah, I
but-
was singing that too,
Yeah.
and they're on the baseball field back in the day. But
when you're
that's not-
sliding into home and your pants are full of foam, diarrhea.
This musical moment is brought to you again by
The Gladstone Boys.
nearly 40 years of
right.
information.
That's right.
Packed into 1 hour shows of Nostalgia Land.
Full of
Thank you
just
for joining
worthless
us.
diarrhea.
Anyway, man, I can't recommend watching this movie. It is awful.
I
It's
can't recommend
terrible.
it enough. It is a weird ride.
I'm not giving it any stars or
Kind
any
of-
thumbs on that one.
Kind of indifferent on it. If it sounds good to you, go ahead and watch
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
No, I'm
I mean,
against
trust
it.
me, it's not very good. But if I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing or what, but
Oh.
it makes me laugh.
He said
Man.
the name of the thing. He
He
said the name of the thing.
He said the thing.
I
The thing
did
of the thing.
thing in the storybook.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, yeah. As always, man, you can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere our social media, Facebook as well.
Like, subscribe,
please
share,
do.
please.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a like button.
We really want to know exactly what you'd love to hear. What you want to talk about? What you're
Yeah,
nostalgic for?
comments are great. We're trying to,
Please.
build a community around this. We
Even if
wanna-
you just Google like nostalgic movie and then comment it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, give us some ideas. What do you want to hear? What do you want to listen to? We'd be happy to look into it. We got a lot of big name movies in the future that I'm sure some of you are clamoring for us to do, but we're kind of holding them off until we get the feel of how we're doing things and what you all like.
Yeah.
We don't want to waste the best ones on early on.
Right.
Not
Right out
not
the
killing
gate.
them. We want to be able to deliver.
Right
Yes.
out the gate.
Right out the
Stand and
gate.
deliver.
Yeah, man. And as always, you can check us out on Etsy and Shopify. We got our accounts up there, man. And people are buying some pretty cool stuff. We got, I should have it next week by our next episode. I ordered a couple of our stuff so we can actually show the products here so people know, hey, this doesn't look like crap.
It's worth buying. It's worth buying. Trust us.
It's worth buying. Yeah,
some quality products.
Yeah, man. But if you ever have any ideas for shirts or something like that too, I'm open to that as well. So if you want to comment on those, I'm down to.
Yeah, especially pertaining to the show.
Yeah.
Stuff you pull from the show, that'd be awesome. If you're like a designer and you have some ideas, you want to throw them our way, that'd be freaking sweet.
Great. I would love that, dude. Oh, man.
Toilet, be a toilet belt.
It could be a toilet belt.
Oh man. Well, as always, I'm Matt.
Trey.
And I'm Tyler. Cowabunga.